with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using buddy payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money. Welcome home.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Tillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, 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 folks. And welcome, goodly folks. As per usual, pull up your chair, tell a friend, and gather, of course, your household. Let's have some frank talk on this Easter weekend. Thank you for joining as you continue your 4-month journey into 2023, effortlessly wiser and more aware as to how, what, who, when, and where to avoid on your forward, onward, and upward journey. This is, of course, my 116th independent live session and my 14th for 2023. On this Easter weekend. Happy Easter to all believers. Remember to share the live, folks. Remember to share the live. Share the live as often as you can so that we can get some people edified. Because, of course, you and I know if this was way ha, there would be effortlessly, everybody would be on board. But be that as it may, this gets its own share because, as I told you pointedly, there are people who don't want to be identified. They don't want people to see them looking at this live because they've already boasted. Oh, me? I would never listen to he. I would never look at he. But I don't want you to see. You see the hypocrisy. So they come on when you can't see that they're looking. So that is why the program eventually gets 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9,000 hits within the week. I thank all of you for viewing, whoever you may be. And I'm certain that whatever you encounter when you come here, it has some measure of impact on you to change how you think. Our topic for today is centered around people deserve to see the side of me they deserve to see. Yes, people deserve to see the side of each and every one of us that they truly deserve to see. This semi-downtime is a good occasion for all of us to reset and re-engineer ourselves, starting with our minds. The many of you who allowed that old nastiness and his brigands to steal your mind over the years need to stop for a moment and say, but wait now, this is not how life is meant to be. Other people you know that never supported that old nastiness seem to have enjoyed a higher standard of living and quality of life, while most of you who supported him remained in the column of the poor and vulnerable. Something has got to be wrong with that picture, folks. The difference is that you were and are still not conscious. Hence the reason why that old nastiness could still have your mind totally captured. You see, so often we have heard it said that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but it is also powerful if you would only put yourselves out to understand and appreciate its power. Strangely enough, the subculture the old nastiness perpetuated caught on like wildfire, to the point where even people who detested his style of politics got absorbed by its workings and are today trapped in the begging quadrant of life, receiving help from the new administration, and guess what? Converting the assistance into a money-making venture for themselves, while they deprive themselves of the facilities they were provided in order to lift their personal standard of living and quality of life. So you see how terrible that syndrome, the nastiness has brought to this country, has actually caught on to even some of the weaker ones who never supported him. None of us is strange, folks. We are beautifully, impossibly unique, faults and all. We need to own that and use it to stop us from apologizing and minimizing and start living and celebrating. These are the words of Brendan Burchard, a prominent life coach with celebrated international icons as his clients. In this light, it is important to take care of ourselves first and foremost, for fear that we will have nothing left to give. You see, self-care is not about selfishness at all. In fact, we cannot serve from an empty vessel. We need to stop vesting our interest in anyone who is not good for us. And God knows Grenada is a landscape with a lot of people not good for you. It is time that we use the smartphone that we own for better purposes, so that we can understand and appreciate that creatures like the old nastiness was always thinking of winning the next election. And because he was never a leader, he was never capable of thinking of the welfare of the next generation. Over the years 1995 to 2022, for the most part, our people developed a stagnant mindset where most of them have been encouraged to think, I'm not smart. It's not my fault. This is too hard. I am not talented. Why bother? Nothing good happens to me anyway. Success threatens me. I've done my best. Let me go and see what they leave for me, you hear? How many people you know like that, folks? Just before I launch you off into the sphere that can help you to clear the mental clutter and work on a happier existence, it is necessary for me to remind the many persistently negative elements in our population that if a photo negative creates unlimited positive prints, then why can't you look at your negative attitudes and experiences and make lots of positives out of them? I did and continue to do so. 2 more months before the hurricane season begins. Are you mentally prepared so that you can prevent casualties and other losses in the event that we attract one this season? But folks, as I always say, where businesses were coming from to reach 2020, COVID that is, they are not as strong today. So God forbid a hurricane hits us. The privileges and the facilities you were granted, a lot of you, these lazy workers, the privilege that you were granted to be paid while you were not working, watch me good, that not happening again, because the businesses you work for are much weaker today. So watch it, folks. You see, we are still not out of the woods yet when it comes to the coronavirus and other vicious strains of the common cold, not to mention all the gastro and the other respiratory ailments that are affecting us over and over again. It is quite obvious that many of the treasury feeders, you hear how I call them, the treasury feeders of the immediate past, are crying out and are trying to include other people in their nonsense by saying things slow in the country and people are generally catching hell under this transformative administration. As the Antiguans say, nothing tal go so. Our cargo port is backed up with goods that used to take a few days after a boat arrives to offload. Now, that same cargo is taking as many as 8 to 14 days to be cleared. Pension paid in lump sum. Teachers got their promised reimbursement and signed off on their 13% increase over the next 3 years. The list can go on to no end in context of the achievements of this new administration in such a short space of time, whereas the old nastiness was there for so long. And what happened? All you get dunce and stupid. So far, there is no appetite for corruption, and therefore all the corrupt practices of the administration led by that old nastiness have come to a halt, with the bottom feeders complaining radically that things are bad. Go and look for work, you lazy good-for-nothings. Their heads were down while they were feeding so much that they forgot to raise them to take stock of reality. And alas, elections came and caught them napping. They had to scramble to cover their tracks, which was too late. Some of them are worried, as all hell today, to the point where their stress levels are so high that they are getting very ill. The government is able to find the money to do all that it is setting out to do in the short, medium, and long term because they are operating according to their transformation agenda. They have a theme which is based on true and genuine people development, as against the keep the people poor, dunce, and stupid mantra that the old nastiness operated under for all these years. Additionally, all the money that used to be channeled to their corrupt ways, where all their top, middle, and bottom feeders used to enjoy, is no more. That represents huge savings to the national treasury. Are you therefore surprised that they are today telling people that many people are catching hell? They ain't lying. They are correct. They are catching hell. But it is only the beneficiaries of corruption that are wincing from deprivation of free money from the state, which could very well have gone into the real and genuine development of better healthcare and education for all. So you see why, when I keep it real, And because I'm an ardent and stubborn resistor of the old nastiness, people deserve to see the side of me they deserve to see. Isn't that beautiful, folks? Take a hint and see what you could do to become that resolute in your life.
Eddie-Fication with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Antillian Group, Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful. As the Germans would say, wunderbar. Well, folks, I just want to welcome you back and at the same time pay a little respect to those of you, Samantha, Maria St. Bernard, who else? Josh Sweetcake. Blessings to you, my dear. Cynthia, Elva, Kevin. Who else do we have here? Wendy Ann, Yvette, Kellan. Welcome. Eugene Wages, Jude, Lennox. Welcome, folks. And of course, we have here on this other platform, one that I am staring at constantly. Let me just pay you. Carrie Ann, Yulin, Kathleen, Nikisha. Who else do we have here? Shirley Ann, Jocelyn, Claudette, Des, Alice, Gloria Jean, Marsha, Kathy, Anne-Marie, Charmaine, Anne, Alice, Shadona, Tamika, Peter, how are you? Blessings, man. Jennifer, it was so lovely to see you and to be in your space, in your lovely piece of geography called Karaku for all of this gone week, for the most part. Folks, Karaku, nice. All you lucky I come back. From the time I reach and I start to inhale that fresh air and that nice ambiance, oh. Anyhow, Cax, get ready. Just all I want is a dry place to sleep and a plate of food when the day comes. I'm not expensive to mine. So study among your head and send the invitation because I'm coming. Over, we have, who else we have here? Benedict, Sonia, Lima, Elisa, Sibylla, Mimi, Jackie, who else? Renee, Terrence, Terrace, sorry. Wendy, it was so lovely to see you, my dear. Welcome. I'm glad to have made your acquaintance and to know you because, of course, you're an ardent a viewer of my life. Desaline, Ernestine, Hadasha, blessings to you, my dear. Always a pleasure to interact with you, virtually, that is. Anna Chetram. Anna says she's glad that I'm back safely because she was wondering if they would lose me. Oh Lord, whoosh! No, not so easy. I have a dog here to take care of. If I had gone with the dog, maybe I'd be still there, I'll be honest with you. Cadella, Vanessa, who else do we have here? Natasha. Some of the names I would have called already, but that's all right. Don't worry. Aldith, Shelley, Marva. It's Earl Steele Sr. Blessings to all of you folks, and thanks for joining. Let's get that share button going so that we can get some more, because this is going to be a very revealing program as per usual, because I think it's important for people to be called by their right name so that you know who they are. Because when people show you who they are, you must believe them. We just have Jimmy joining us. So folks, welcome. I always say to people, as a preface to my vulgar frankness, that I can be likened to medicine. Tastes bad, but good for you. Those of us who were properly socialized and were born with a little smarts would know how to cut and contrive in order to be able to spare a little to boost our daily ability to experience a little joy, peace, love, caring, and sharing on an everyday basis, not seasonally. One thing I do know is that we have a lot to be thankful for, especially as we are still above ground, and therefore we're qualified to be loving it. We need to stop being so surprised and shocked when we hear of the passing of friends and loved ones. Our time will come. They are only in front. Our insistence on being shocked and surprised at the passing of others gives the impression that we think on a large scale that only other people will die. We all have a limited amount of time and energy. The clock ticks the same way for each and every one of us. We live continuous moments of now, and that is why we should ensure that when time passes, we grow, we develop, and we become better people. We should not be like some of the old nastinesses that we know and experience in our lives, whose modus operandi is to be totally dishonest to the point where they would not even make a mistake to do anything honest. Accumulate riches and then lose their soul. Just recently, a man was telling me he saw a vagrant-like looking man with a Rolex on his hand, waiting outside one of our airports to be picked up. And even though there were other people there waiting with this vagrant-like creature, no one was uttering a word in that person's direction. They lamented that even with all the money that old nastiness has been able to accumulate over the years through dishonest means, the riches have done nothing for that person, because that person has absolutely no class. Full of money, but no class. He said that person gives life to Bob Marley's words. Some people are so poor, the only thing they have is money. I was looking at a Sadhguru video on YouTube recently and heard him say that when we are very happy, 24 hours seem to fly. The penny dropped, and I became even more appreciative of the saying. It's amazing how time seems to fly when we are having a good time. Let's juxtapose that with being miserable and depressed. Those same 24 hours seem like an eternity. It would be correct to conclude that only miserable and depressed people can have a truly long life. It is as if God forgot them. Do you know anyone like that? If you are really joyful before you know it, and before you know what's happening, you get old as if to complete the cycle of life. If you are ecstatic, 100 years will pass away like the smack of your fingers. On the contrary, if you are miserable, every day feels like 100 years, and the people around you feel the same way. I again invite our youthful population, pull up your chair and pay close attention to my sharing here, so that you can graduate to that level of enjoyment of your inner higher consciousness. We were all born to have a larger vision of ourselves than the one other people have of us, which we so effortlessly embrace and adopt because of our laziness. We are therefore called upon to be visionaries who can boast of a larger desire, which is not about incremental improvement in our personal lives, even though desire is always about you, the person. Vision is all-inclusive, while desire is personal. Desire leads to incremental changes and improvements, while vision leads to transformation of the entire situation. Many of us do not have much respect for volunteers, but in the large scheme of things, we ought to, because they are doing something selflessly and willingly. But folks, listen to this. Willing and unwilling can be likened to heaven and hell. In our secular way of thinking, we believe that when one is willing, this is good, and when one is unwilling, this is bad. Believe it or not, I recall being told by Mr. Hines of Heinz's School fame way back in the early 70s that there are no good and bad people. There are just people who either do good or bad things. This therefore means that people generally oscillate between good and bad, being joyful and being miserable. The moment we think we are good, we feel entitled to destroy what or who we perceive to be bad. Our agendas, which are fueled by our desire as against the vision, qualifies us to think we must exert the power of our authority over others without realizing that we are disqualifying ourselves from being worthy. Now that the old nastiness is out of power, so to speak, I am sure he can tell you that his experience is that of abject loneliness. All the people who sucked off his corrupt culture are nowhere to be seen today. He can no longer give them anything, and so they're trying to cozy up to the new powers that be for their gravy train to continue to move. Too many of our people have sinned and fallen short in this regard. Too few of us escape this level of guilt. And that is why, as we seek truth in our more mature years, we ought to stop destroying one another for the sake of these nastinesses that our carelessness allows to pass, and we allow them a pass, to become political leaders who come to the table with absolutely no good intention, as we saw on full display by that old nastiness for all these years. As human beings, we each have different levels of experiences and understanding. And that is why we say, variety is the spice of life. Many of us hold that if another person is not like us, he or she is bad. That is because the basis of goodness and what we feel is good is decided by us. To return to the point of volunteers and volunteerism, willing means I am 100% yes to life. You are now a willing life. That's what you transform yourself into being, a willing life. You have become so willing that you have no will of your own. Your life therefore becomes not about anyone. It is about you. It does not matter how people are, for that's how they are. That's their choice, and your choice or my choice must be to revel in the joy of being above ground and loving it every day, while using your valuable time to introduce others to the same level of wisdom as you. We must keep the privilege of being angry, sad, happy, excited for ourselves, rather than give it to anyone outside of us. If someone else can decide what goes on inside us right now, isn't that the ultimate of slavery or even bondage? What happens within you is your domain to decide, for what happens around you is so many other people's to decide already. So I'm sure you would agree that what happens around you is not 100% yours to decide. What we should know for sure is that what happens within us is 100% for us to decide. That is our business and not the affairs of anyone outside of us. It is God's will that we develop into intelligent, educated beings, capable of setting boundaries to preserve our own peace. If you think what you do is important, you must learn to work with all kinds. Otherwise, take your leave and go to heaven, as there is where you would find the perfect ones you only want to work with. Ideal people on earth do not exist. We need to graduate to the level where we do not operate in the yes to one and no to the other quadrant. We need to upgrade even further to one big yes and finally experience that life gets easier to cope with, for it would lead to a happier existence. Let us all take a serious look at our daily habits and ask ourselves if they are causing us to evolve or just revolve. Are we moving forward or are we just moving in circles? I want you to remember, there can be no progress in a circle. When you fail to change, a bad leader that you hold the entire organization or country hostage. Always remember that. And a lot of you failed to change that old nastiness for so long, holding this nation back. When you have a country with great potential and the bad leader is not collaborating in a way he or she is supposed to for great outcomes, you have to make the changes you have to make. I must say that at this mature stage in my existence, folks, the penny dropped, and I now realize that even though I do not know how much time I may have on my side or how much more life I may have, I can tell you that life is becoming more meaningful as it winds down. My appreciation for the desirable things in life, health, career, relationships, has been foremost. An example of this true north that I am experiencing lately rests with my realization that my feelings can only get hurt when I care about what people are saying about me. I have learned and mastered the art of taking my feelings away. And alas, I realize, but wait now, it's just empty words based on the usual negatives of malice, hate, spite, and jealousy. And that is precisely why I don't ever care about what anyone says about me. Folks, I'm enjoying you to join me. I'm actually imploring you, to join me in operating at that mental construct that you just don't care what anybody says about you. Because when you remove the emotions, how you feel, it is just words. As long as my standard of living and quality of life are intact and continuously rise to higher heights, I persevere. Up to this point, my God has granted me the confidence to say, here it is, as against, where is it? My dog has become an addition to my lifestyle, and she does not have a worry about being properly cared for by way of food, shelter, veterinary services, and exercise. My priorities are on point in keeping with the strong and well-ordered character that I am. Remember what I shared some time ago. Priorities introduce us to a man's character. It tells you who that man or that woman is. We are not what has happened to us or what people say about us, folks. We are instead what we choose to evolve into and become, according to Carl Jung. This new place of mental rest as a result of exponential growth and self-mastery during maturity has me massaging the habit of asking myself before doing anything or associating with anyone, does this or this person support the life I am trying to create? I don't take anything personally. I let people be. Focus on you, folks. As long as your well-being, personal and spiritual health are intact, their opinions do not matter. They must not mess your happiness up with their negativity. Promise yourself that, the man. I learned a long time now that I am not the main character in everybody's story. I am the main character in my own story, and I keep working on my story daily. So far, so good. I am proud of me. What about you? We are all not responsible for the programming we received in childhood. What I do know is that as adults, we are 100% responsible for fixing it if it needs fixing. COVID-19 has come, and the effects and fallout ought to have been to take more of us to the place of a higher existence, where the things of this earth should not really matter as much as they used to when we observed and still observing the invisible nature of this pandemic, which has shaken so many of us and continue to shake us to the core. This is part of the principalities and powers, rulers of darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places that we are currently wrestling against. We can only survive if we enter a new place of consciousness, much, much higher than the bouncing low that we insist on operating at. The days of others telling you what to think, how to feel, and what you are will end when you choose to function at the level of your inner, higher consciousness. For we all have within us our own unique passion, purpose, and journey. Learn to live bravely with love and gratitude and become who you were created to become. You young people who have been managing to pull up your chair, if you take this to heart, you would have a strong head start at a very early stage of your lives. And alignment with great fortunes must be the results. This is not just mere motivation. What this is actually saying is every single one of us can be best in the world at something. Go out and be best at what you are so passionately in love with and crave to excel at. Then you will truly realize people deserve to see the side of you they deserve to see. Let's take another little break here and we'll come right back with more.
Eddie-Fication with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during Eddie-Fication are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful. Welcome back, folks. And for those of you just joining, welcome. One thing people need to understand there, folks, about extremely kind, nice, and loving people is that their other side is just as extreme. Maturity brings us to places of rest And to a great extent, I have opted to reach this place of rest and stay the hell away from the madding crowd. In so doing, I am preserving my peace. I do not accept invitations. I choose where I go, who I associate with, and on what and on whom I spend my time. At my current age, I need to be choosy and picky, as I'm not aware of how much time I have left on the top side of the earth. The hell that brought me to this point and made me somewhat gentle should not be taken lightly. Don't mistake this high level of self-control for weakness. The beast in me is very much alive, not dead. I shall therefore guard my peace with every fiber in me. What about you? I live a very authentic life. And when put simply, authenticity means you're true to your own personality, values, and spirit, regardless of the attempted pressures you're put under to act otherwise. You're honest with yourself and with others, and you take responsibility for your truths and mistakes. Your values, ideals, and actions align. What a pity we have so little numbers of authentic people in our various communities and society in general. And when I say authentic, I'm talking positively authentic, not the negative authentic hypocrites, because we have authentic hypocrites in Grenada. Oh God, a plethora of them. It's like Grenada is a factory for them. Here is how we can identify a truly, genuinely authentic person. You are accepting of yourself and others. You treat your young adult children and young adult children of friends and people that you know as the adults they are. You have a healthy ego in that you take healthy pride in yourself and everything you do. You have a realistic perception of reality and never question it, but go with the positive flow of the universe. You accept mistakes and learn from them, and hence have become extremely experienced. You are emotionally mature to the point where you can easily put yourself in another's position. You are considerate towards others. You don't feel threatened by others at all because of your high confidence level that you remain on purpose. Folks, those are the qualities of a truly authentic person. Another example of authenticity is self-expression, which means expressing your feelings, personality, and opinions through your words and the choices you make. Self-expression ensures that you make decisions in a friendship, family, or even a company that you fully support and are passionate about because they align with your belief system. What is authenticity of self? Your authentic self, folks, is extremely important and allows people to see that one consistent self that they must grow to respect regardless of whether they like you or not. Being your true authentic self means what you say in life aligns with your actions. Your authentic self goes beyond what you do for a living, what possessions you own, or what you are to someone, whether that be your mom, brother, girlfriend, boyfriend, man, father, daddy, lover, friend. If you who are authentic cannot be real, you may as well throw in the towel. It is who you are at your deepest core, folks. Look at this Trinidadian comedian, Rachel Price. Now, she is her authentic self and has decided to use that one self to earn her living. Most, if not all, of the folks who criticize her for what she does and says during her performances, they miss the mark. She is earning her living to maintain a high standard of living and quality of life, while they are broke, pretending to be what society wants them to be, and living in that contained box of no progress and no true growth in their life. Many of them have to beg for top-up in order to be able to use their cell phones, while Rachel Price can effortlessly make a donation to them. She is being real while they are being false. We can either choose to look at her shows or not look at her shows. But shut up we must. We have our very own here, Nivea Newman, Ashida, whom I admire for all her level of daring. She understands our boxed-in, false and pretensive people, and she drops it like it's hot. I commend her regularly for her authenticity. I wish she would make a study of Rachel Price and people like that, of that ilk, with a view to monetizing her authenticity. For the sky will surely be the limit. Sorry to say, but she speaks to a lot of among you in the only way you need to be spoken to. And thank God she knows it. Look at her fan base and the number of people who join her live and after the fact. The numbers speak for themselves. What are the other terms for authenticity? Fidelity, frankness, genuineness, gospel, honest to God truth. You must know who you are and be proud every minute of the day of yourself. Authenticity is important in life because it inspires loyalty and encouragement where integrity, ethics, and morals are not questioned. We tend to be drawn to authentic people because they exude trustworthiness and confidence. When you're being your whole true self, you inspire others to feel safe, to share more of themselves with you. And hence, that's precisely why so many people are drawn to me and share their personal and confidential issues, believing fully well that their discussions are safe with me. What is the difference between authentic and genuine people? Folks, the word authentic refers to how you are, being yourself. It is a reference to self-expression. That is, how you express yourself reflects how you really are inside, what you are thinking, feeling, perceiving, and believing. The term being genuine is more about how you and your authentic self relate to other people. Authenticity is feeling and being. And I have absolutely no problem with feeling and being. What about you? And this is why, according to my favorite nephew, a decorated psychologist and very actualized youth, in a recent discussion that actually caused the lights to go on and for me to use as topic today, people deserve to see the side of me they deserve to see. Isn't that beautiful, folks? Isn't that beautiful? So you see, he's not too young to influence me, but he's a positive youth.
Eddie-Fication with consulting human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during Eddie-Fication are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.Frederick.com.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. And of course, this is our last segment here. So let's get a move on. I want to thank all of you for joining. Nivea Newman, blessings, my dear, blessings. You know, I'm so much, you know, I admire what you do and how you do it. I admire your brawn. I admire your gusto. You do what you need to do, and trust me, that's why you have a market. A lot of them need to hear what you just say. Straighten them out. Welcome back, folks. For lots of people, they are the source of their own unhappiness. They think so poorly that they do not realize that how they think draws them to their habits. Yet for all, they're bold enough to blame others. Listen to me carefully, folks. Wherever you find yourself in life, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. Stop blaming others for the results of either your inaction or poor action. You need to take responsibility. And once you make up your mind to do so, then take the necessary action. The source of a lot of you very existence has dried up since the old nastiness was replaced by the decent Mitchell. Stop all your whimpering and crying like wounded dogs. Cleanse yourself of that spell and yoke the old nastiness placed over you. Look at him now that he's out of power, so to speak. The power you loaned to him, which he used for bad, while of course feathering his own nest at your expense while feeding you scraps. A man said he saw him recently and wondered if that is the little man who used to lie, tell untruths, in other words, ad nauseum through his teeth in those old talk sessions he passed off as national addresses, while being chauffeur driven by state security in any of the 3 official state vehicles at any given time. The exact words of this man, Lord, you ain't see how he come, boy? He ain't come no way, I told the man. He was always of that inferior stock. And if you look back carefully at his track record, you will see that all he was concerned about was the false status he enjoyed to be somebody. All this time, many Grenadians turned a blind eye to his shenanigans. Now that he's out of office, he resumed who he really is without the trappings of the office to disguise him as someone else. But because you all don't pay attention, you could not see the trees for the forest. All the big shots he socialized with during his uptime are not minded to socialize with him now, as he's really not their level. Apart from that, when he was up, he used the position on loan to him to do so much harm to people opposed to him, to force people to like him, and to do his biddings by dangling their very existence in front of them through threats of removing their appointments, which he made sure they never were confirmed in, for fear that they get too fresh. And now he's out. He's totally status starved. An old nastiness like that is very lucky he can remain safe in a society that he has single-handedly mangled so badly and caused to be at its lowest, needing total transformation socially, economically, and generally developmentally. Can you feel the authentic disgust in my tone as to how necessary this old nastiness should be publicly flogged weekly for his serious transgressions against this entire nation, just because that old nastiness was more concerned about remaining in power as against realizing the true potential of nationals and truly developing the country. All of you who supported that crap ought to be ashamed of yourselves, especially you who ought to have known better and still insist on supporting this old nastiness. That is why I will always say, all of you deserve to see the side of me you deserve to see. Goodly folks, the people who truly love you will be hard on you. The people who truly love you will tell you when you are going down the wrong road. They will tell you when you are around the wrong people. They will tell you when you are drinking and even smoking too much. It might not look like love because it's hard love. The people who actually care to be that way towards you are the people who care about you and your well-being versus the friend who says to you, yeah, bro, come, let's do a blast tonight. Let's get a blast tonight. Skip work and call in sick and let's hang out. But you turn on people that genuinely have your interests at heart and care about your well-being, and you move with the people who don't care two hoots about your well-being. Just look at the learned helplessness, the learned haplessness, the learned hopelessness that you have been immersed in by that old nastiness over the years, who never had your best interest at heart, but that of his very own. The nature of many of you people is to take the path of least resistance, and so we feel when a structured person whose life is based on a certain standard speak with us in the only way they know how, honestly and frankly, we must ignore them. Our immediate response is, what he playing? Who he think he is to be telling me that? This is my business, and he better mind the business. When people don't like your frank objection or your passing comments towards them and what they are doing, they tend to pull the disrespect card also. Sad. All this time, their lesser mortal affiliates are getting them to effortlessly go down the wrong path and screw up their entire future. That kind of behavior accounts for the high number of forgettable Grenadians we live with who contribute no added value to civilization, but that of keeping the bottom overcrowded and contributing to climate change by sucking up good air. I agree with T.D. Jakes when he pranced and shouted that he does not look like what he's been through, which if he told his congregation what he went through, it will blow their mind. If he told you the hell of a wilderness he's been through, you wouldn't even believe it. But look at him today. How many of you have similar stories, folks? In 1998, when the government fell, as announced on my Sunday program, Striking a Balance, then on GBC turned GBN, as principal to Dr. Raphael Fletcher, God rest his soul, agreed to appear on my program to announce that he had just come from the Governor General's residence and tendered his resignation from the first administration of that old nastiness. It was woyoyoy. Folks, I've never spoken about this, but I recall being told, you go see what you go get. I will see to it that you catch your fill in the blanks. I recall telling that old nastiness back then, do I hear a little voice from heaven speaking? You've got to be God to be making that bold promise. I dared him to watch me, and he will see I will continue to live well. He thought he could break me, so he told my lawyer in a follow-up matter he had with me in the courts, he will turn me into a bankrupt, and tried everything he could to see if he could hit me in the pocket. That experience taught me that money is not as important as we make it, folks. As God would have it, my standard of living and quality of life never decreased, as I was under serious protection from that old nastiness from ever since. Folks, Hubbards, Mr. Alan Bierzinski, then CEO. Cablevision, Mr. Hugh Dolan, then majority shareholder and CEO. Spice Isle with Traders turned automotive. The Rahamans, Spice Island Beach Resort, Sir Royston Hopkins, God rest his soul. Colonial Life, Chester John Agencies, Chester John, God rest his soul. Habib Hadid, God rest his soul. RBTT in Trinidad and Tobago, not the one here. Air Conditioning Inc. turned Cooling Tech, Anselm Latouche. Mr. Chasley David, Mr. Dennis Chokes Sylvester, Mr. Derek Knight QC, Robert Grant, Dorothy Patterson, Linda Grant, God rest their souls. Just to name but a few stalwart Grenadians who believed in what I was doing, continued to support me in the face of the old nastiness, using the power of state to see if he could turn me into the bankrupt as he threatened. I may have been bankrupt in material and money, but not in spirit. Look at him now. Nobody even farting on him today. He has assumed his genuinely and authentically vagrant status as true payback for who he really is. And he ain't seen nothing yet. Folks, this experience should teach us that you do not get what you want out of life. You instead get what you are out of life. Could you imagine being so high and mighty, and a young unknown to politics throws his hat in the ring at a moment's notice, and people came out in their majority to choose him over you? That should tell you something. Never mind how much you enjoyed yourself in a dance, folks. You must know when to leave. Look at the dustbin pears he's forced to turn to today to see if he could revive his chances of remaining leader of his national nastiness party. One don't even know the correct side of the road to drive on, but out there representing this rubbish. I am telling you all now, folks, that you should never give up because of what has been done to you and surrender thinking that's your life. Oh no, I never gave up. I persevered. Look at me now, being totally qualified to call that old nastiness by his real name, that old nastiness. And is that? A lot of us do not realize how powerful we are. We need to stop giving anybody the power over our life by allowing them to think whether you're happy or whether you eat or not. God opens doors that no man can shut. My experience is a living testimony of that truth. We must never worry about somebody else. Love them, but trust God. Trust the power of the universe. People are going to make promises to you folks, left and right, positive and negative. Stop investing in people's promises and start believing in the promises of the Master, as they will be carried out if you just believe. Too many of you give up because you accept a mentality that whatever was done to you, well, that's my life. Hell no. Instead, realize how powerful you are and release your power. Don't give nobody power over your life. I didn't and never will. Young people, how you find that advice today? For all intents and purposes, folks, I have been to hell and back and will use all my experiences to share so you can be strengthened in your resolve to stay focused and remain on purpose. I remember some time ago that old nastiness saying that he'd been to hell and back. Well, he ain't see hell yet. But this change many of you young people have invested in should be massaged and guarded jealously. All the criers that you are hearing telling you how things bad is gripe they have from overeating. They never saved during their times of largesse and plenty. They ate and allowed too much to spoil and were never able to save for a rainy day. And so they are in the rain today, and the treasury has become off bounds for them. Folks, since food from the treasury has been stopped by this responsible administration, they can now right position the money for teachers, healthcare, education for all, proper roads, and implementation of proper things for the true north development of the nation as a whole. Don't feel sorry for the bottom feeders who are today deprived. Their long overdue time is over. Tell them to go and purge when they come with their complaints, or take a trip to the cemetery and stay there, because if they intend to operate as they operated under the old nastiness, there will be no room for them in this new dispensation. Change or retire and leave us alone. This little country of fake friends and generally false people have me totally convinced that how I live is the correct way to live, away and apart, so that I can truly show them that many of them deserve to see the side of me they deserve to see. Folks, I am in, I am out, and I am gone. See you next week, God willing, for regular programming. Until then, I beg you, stay safe, stay well, remain lifted, and also remember to have a happy Easter, all of you.
Eddie-Fication with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Antillian Group, Country Cold Store.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using buddy payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home. I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Eddie-Fication with consultant human